come, whoever you are welcome here. No matter your age, your size, the color of your eyes, your hair, your skin, you are welcome here. No matter your gender, whom you love, how you speak, whatever your abilities, you are welcome here. You are welcome here, whether you come with laughter in your heart, tears in your eyes, you are welcome here. No matter what you have experienced in the past, no matter what awaits you in the future, you are welcome here. Whether you believe in God some of the time, all of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. This is a community of open minds, loving hearts, and willing hands. You are welcome here at South Valley Unitarian Universalist Society. Good morning, gentle people. My name is Brian Debink, and my pronouns are he and him. Our worship team this morning is myself, along with our worship leader, director of religious exploration, Rob Carlson, our coordinator of music, John Allen, our hymn leader and performer, Lisa Youngberg, our esteemed technical crew, and all of our young religious explorers who are presenting the pageant this morning. To those gathered here in the sanctuary, welcome. To those of you watching at home on our streaming service, you are also welcome. It is such a joy to be able to gather from wherever you are this morning. We would like to extend an especially warm welcome to those of you who are with us for the first time. So glad you are here. If you'd like to get to know us more, we encourage you to fill out the connection card and the digital order of service that you downloaded perhaps when you arrived. If you missed it earlier, there should be a QR code in the back of your hymnal. Feel free to do that whenever you'd like. We also have a pastoral care team that works with our minister. If you'd like to connect for support, you can find that link also in your digital order of service. While I have my cell phone out, please silence your cell phones if you haven't done that already. We have a religious exploration program that meets weekly on Sundays. Today is an intergenerational worship, so everyone will be in the sanctuary for the full service. But it meets weekly, other than days like today. And we host activities throughout the month, and our director, Rob Carlson, is happy to answer any questions you have and get you connected with the programs after worship. There's a lot happening here at South Valley, and the Happenings Weekly newsletter is your best way to stay up to date. There's a link, again, in your digital order of service where you can review all the community announcements and subscribe if you wish. Two things I want to highlight, and then John Allen has an announcement as well. The first thing is next Sunday after worship, we are going to honor our longtime retiring admin, Cindy Martin. I would think we're calling it a party, although given COVID circumstances and that sort of thing, I don't know how crazy we can get, but we'll gather and honor her, and we'll have a nice time together, and that'll be right after worship service next week. And then on Christmas Eve, we have a cookie exchange. So bring a dozen or however many you want of home-baked cookies, and you can exchange those with other people who have done likewise, and it's just a really nice way to celebrate the holiday in a very positive manner.
Hi, I'm John Allen. Pronouns are he or they. And welcome, everyone. And we got our bell choir off to an amazing start last Sunday. So awesome to get some group music happening again. And so I just wanted to remind our ringers that we are rehearsing again today downstairs in the social hall from 12 to 2. And then also, I've been kind of hesitant to announce on this, but we want to get our choir together again, and we're kind of looking to the new year to do that. However, I think we're going to plan on having one small number for our Christmas Eve program, just a silent night that everyone already knows, and so I think we're going to try to just have one rehearsal for that next Sunday, and I will send out an email to our choir folks, and if you're interested in participating with that, please come talk to me or someone on the worship team. Thank you so much.
Thanks, John.
At this time, we invite you to rise in body, mind, or spirit as we say our chalice lighting words and use our actions as well, if you like. Those at home are invited to light a chalice and share in this ritual by entering chalices lit at and the name of your street in the chat box on YouTube. Thank you. So we light this chalice for the warmth of love, for the light of truth, and for the energy of action.
Please join me in a Christmas song, 254, Sing We Now of Christmas, all verses. Sing we now of Christmas, nothing we hear our grateful praises to the babe so dear. Sing we Noel, the child is born Noel. Sing we now of Christmas, sing we now Noel. Angels go to shepherds, leave your flocks at rest. Journey forth to Bethlehem, find the child so blessed. Sing we Noel, the child is born Noel. Sing we now of Christmas, sing we now Noel. In the time before him, Joseph and Mary mild, seated by the manger, watching the holy child. Sing we Noel, the child is born Noel. Sing we now of Christmas, sing we now Noel.
Calling all who cannot wait any longer for joy, for hope, and for some good news, even a little. Here in this time, we have an old story to tell, one that has been shared over and over, but still somehow it remains unheard, still radical and risky. Breaking through into these days of darkness and cold, division and fear, interrupting the perpetual stories of loss and the feelings of powerlessness. Into the errands and errors of our everyday. The holidays arrive not only to comfort, but to awaken, to reassure, and to also stir us up as a new life, a life of peace and justice, and when courageous love struggles to be born. Wondering if we will yet be the ones who make room in our lives and in our world for the refugee, the poor, the plain and messy sweetness of a newborn. If we will take the journey to Bethlehem, if we will be changed by the presence of a love that meets us where we are in the fields, wherever we lay, and calls us forth into a new journey, a braver and bolder life, believing that it is not too late for strong and gentle people to win, for compassion and truth to have the final say, for the bright light of hope to shine through even on the darkest night. So come, let us prepare our hearts to welcome the good news of the holidays coming soon, and let us worship together. My name is Rob Carlson. My pronouns are he, him, and his, and I am the Director of Religious Exploration here at South Valley. And this Sunday, if you are joining us for the first time, or if you haven't joined us in a while, gosh, you picked a great Sunday to be here. I am just so delighted. Grace and I are so delighted to have many of our kids and our youth participating in our holiday pageant this year. I am so grateful for their energy and for their enthusiasm and their willingness to have a little fun, maybe step outside their comfort zone a little bit. And I am so grateful to this congregation for the ways that you welcome our families and our kids and teens in our midst. Over the years, as I've been doing this work with kids and youth, I always hear, of course, the refrain that our kids are our future, and kids are the future of the church, and I absolutely believe that, but I also know that our kids and teens are the now of the church. The presence of young people in our midst, the sounds of crying infants, maybe the occasional clipboard hitting the floor, these are all signs that our community is alive and vibrant. And so thank you all for your support. And now we are pleased to present the Latka Who Couldn't Stop Screaming. And I invite our narrator and explainer to come forward.
The story begins in a tiny village, more or less covered in snow. The snow had fallen during the long night, during which the children had pressed their faces to the windows looking for a glimpse of a man who they suspected of bringing them wonderful gifts. But instead they heard a terrible noise from a certain cottage in a neighboring arrondissement.
A word which here means place where something was being born.
This cottage was already regarded with some suspicion, as it was the only place not decorated with flashing colored lights at this time of year. The thing that was being born was a latke.
A word which here means potato pancake. Latkes are a traditional part of the celebration of Hanukkah, a holiday commemorating a miraculous Jewish military victory and a miraculous event at the temple.
Nearly everything in this world is born screaming, and the latke was no exception. Even though the latke wasn't conceived and born the way that you and I were conceived and born, but instead was fashioned from grated potatoes, chopped onions, beaten eggs, and a dash or two of salt. Once these ingredients were properly mixed, the latke was slapped into a pan full of olive oil heated to a very high temperature, and this is when it began to scream. The latke was suffering so much that it leapt out of the hot pan and out into the window of the cottage and began running, screaming down the boulevard.
This may seem like unusual behavior for a potato pancake, but this is a holiday story in which unusual things tend to happen.
The latke ran past a row of flashing colored lights, which hung from the rain gutters of a less suspicious cottage.
I was just thrown into a pan of boiling oil. Can you believe it? But we can't imagine why. Because I'm a latke.
The olive oil reminds us of the oil used to rededicate the temple after following the defeat of Antiochus at the hands of the Maccabees. The oil was only supposed to last for one night, but there was a miracle and it lasted for 8.
Plus, frying makes my skin so crispy and brown.
So you're basically just hash browns. Maybe it can be served along with a Christmas ham.
I'm not hash browns.
I'm something.
I'm something completely different.
The latke rounded a corner and found itself face to face with some candy canes, which wrinkled their red and white noses at the latke in distaste.
trying to sprinkle the night air with my peppermint scent. Your mouth-watering scent, not to mention all that yelping, is spoiling the effect. My mouth-watering smell is part of the cozy feeling of Hanukkah.
It reminds us that things are better now than they were in 175 BCE, when some people were not allowed to practice their religion. In order to study the Torah, they had to hide out in caves, and when they heard Greek soldiers approach, they had to pretend they were gambling with a small spinning top called the dreidel.
Someone should write a Christmas carol about you. I'm not part of Christmas. It's a totally different thing.
The screams of the Latka grew quieter and quieter as the pancake ran out of the village into the surrounding forests. Its utter fury was unabated.
A phrase which here means, the Latka was very annoyed at the objects to whom it had spoken.
But it was quite tired, so it decided to rest for a few minutes beneath the branches of a little pine tree. The pine tree was napping, but woke at the sound of an object plopping down at its feet.
Are you a present? Presents are pretty much the only thing allowed to sit beneath me during
This time of year.
this time of year. To sit beneath me during this time of year. Yawn. Presents are really a big thing with Hanukkah.
There's nothing wrong with giving gifts to loved ones, of course, but it's more important to light the candles for 8 consecutive nights to commemorate the miracle in the temple and the miracle of victory, even when you are thoroughly outnumbered, so you shouldn't give up hope.
Plus, Santa Claus. Santa Claus has nothing to do with it. Christmas and Hanukkah are completely different things. But different things can often blend together. Let me tell you a funny story about pagan rituals. This one time, a family came trooping through the snow, searching through the forest, talking about how they waited too long and now will never find a good one. Then they pointed at me and almost chopped me down to take and put inside their house.
Just then, before the pine tree could continue its story, a family came trooping through the snow, searching the forest carefully. One of them said, we shouldn't have waited until the last minute to get ready for the holiday. Now we'll never find a good one. Then they looked over and said, it's beautiful, it's perfect, such a marvelous shape. Its skin is so crispy.
Yeah!
We'll need to reheat it, of course, but this will be perfect for a Hanukkah dinner, with a topping of applesauce, sour cream, or even jam. Ha! What was I thinking bringing this axe? The family strolled back to the village, walking past all the cottages with flashing colored lights and smiling politely at the candy canes until they reached their own home. The family took the latke into their own home, which was warm and cozy, and sat down at the table, which was lit with the flickering candles of a menorah, a branched candelabra designed specifically for the holiday.
It can be very frustrating not to be understood in this world. If you say one thing and keep being told that you mean something else, it can make you want to scream. But somewhere in the world, there is a place for all of us, whether you are an electric form of decoration, a peppermint-scented sweet, a source of timber, or a potato pancake.
On a cold, snowy night, everyone and everything should be welcomed somewhere, and the latke was welcomed into a home full of people who understood what a latke is and how it fits into its particular holiday. And then they ate it.
wasn't that just amazing? Yeah. And thank you so much to Rob and Grace for making that all happen, as well as our adult volunteers. Human props. All right. This community, our church, and its many ministries are only made possible by the gifts you give of your time, your talent, and your treasure. Many of you pledge monthly to support our work, and for this, we are truly grateful. Your gifts help to ensure that we are able to live our values of love and justice in the world outside. Part of our ministry at South Valley includes sharing our Sunday worship offerings with charitable organizations that align with our principles and values. In loving memory of Connie Gates, who is one of our founding members and a fierce justice advocate, our Social Action Council has chosen the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee Guests at Your Table program as our offering split. I love that you have no idea what's in that cup. Let me try that again. The Guests at Your Table program as our offering split recipient for November and December this year. The UUSC works to uphold the rights of people displaced due to climate, conflict, and economic hardships, and responds to humanitarian crises, focusing on those who are most marginalized. UUSC's work is grounded in the belief that all people have inherent power and dignity. Materials for Guests at Your Table will be available, are available in the foyer at the welcoming table and through the end of the year. Please join me in reading our offertory words. They are printed in your order of service. We are this church, its hands, its heart, its voice. Together we share in the wealth of this community and sustain it with our gifts. We will now accept the offering. For those of you at home, you are invited to use the giving link in the online order of service. I invite the ushers to come forward at this time.
You're all invited to open your hymnals to 245 and sing with me, Joy to the World.
For all that we have received and all we found the courage to give, may we be truly thankful. May these gifts be a blessing to South Valley and to the UUSC Guests at Your Table program.
all gathered here today are now invited to participate in a silent ritual of joys and sorrows. If you have something on your mind or on your heart that you would like to have held in community, please come up to the table up front and feel free to place a stone in the water. Feel free to pause as you select your stone and gently place it in the water bowl. This ritual is practiced in silence, both of the gathered community and those approaching the chancel table. At the close of the ritual, when all who wish have added their stone, we will add one final stone to the bowl to represent those joys and sorrows unexpressed, but still held in kindness. So at this time, you may process up whenever you're ready via the aisle and return to your seat via the aisle that you came from. A prayer from John Daniel. Among other wonders of our lives, we are alive with one another. We live here in the light of this unlikely world that isn't ours for long. May we spend generously the time we are given. May we enact our responsibilities as thoroughly as we enjoy our pleasures. May we see with clarity. May we seek a vision that serves all beings. May we honor the mystery surpassing our sight. And may we hold in our hands the gift of good work and bear it forth whole, as we were born forth by a power and a spirit that we know. We belong to this one earth, this homeland of all we love. May we cherish it. May we cherish one another. May it be so. I invite you to stand in body, mind, or spirit as you are able and join us for our closing hymn, number 400 in the gray hymnal, Shalom Havarim. Shalom Haverim, Shalom Haverim, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Haverim, Shalom Haverim, Please, I invite you to remain standing as you're able as we say our chalice extinguishing words. The words are in your order of service, and you are invited to say them out loud with me. We extinguish this chalice, but not the warmth of community, the light of truth, or the energy of action. We hold each other in our hearts until we meet again. And now, my friends, as you go from this place and out into the world, may you experience an opening to joy this holiday season. And wherever you may find yourselves, may you find yourselves in the light of that joy, and don't forget to spread it around. May it be so.
Please join me in 118, this little light of mine. Thank you.